Imagine a tiny factory that works non-stop, building new structures, creating duplicates of itself, and ensuring that everything runs in perfect order, all without you ever knowing it's happening inside your body. This is exactly what every single cell in your body is doing right now, thanks to a process called mitosis. But what exactly is mitosis, and why is it so crucial for life as we know it? But here's where it gets really fascinating. During mitosis, a single cell, something we can't even see without a microscope, manages to split itself perfectly into two identical cells, with each new cell receiving a complete copy of the original's DNA. In today's video, we will start by discussing what mitosis is, followed by an in-depth look at each phase of mitosis. We will then talk about where mitosis occurs in the body and its significance. After that, we'll cover some common errors associated with mitosis, such as cancerous cell growth. Lastly, we'll introduce a mnemonic to help you easily remember the stages of mitosis. Let's begin with understanding of mitosis. Mitosis is the process of cell division that results in two genetically identical daughter cells from a single parent cell. This is important for growth, development, and tissue repair. Think of it as the body's way of making copies of its cells to keep everything running smoothly. Where does mitosis occur? Mitosis occurs in somatic cells, which are all the cells in your body except for the sex cells like sperm and eggs. This means that mitosis is happening almost everywhere in your body, from your skin to your muscles, and even in your digestive system. Every day, billions of your cells are dividing to keep your body functioning properly. Let's move on to the phases of mitosis. The phases of mitosis. To really understand mitosis, it's important to break it down into its different stages. Mitosis can be divided into five key phases. 1. Prophase. 2. Metaphase. 3. Anaphase. 4. Telophase. 5. Cytokinesis. Let's dive into each of these stages one by one to understand what happens during each phase. Phase 1. Prophase. The preparation begins. Prophase is the first phase of mitosis. During this stage, several important things happen. The chromosomes in the nucleus condense, becoming visible under a microscope. Chromosomes look like little X-shaped structures. The nuclear membrane, which usually encloses the nucleus, starts to break down. This gives the chromosomes more room to move around. Structures called centrioles move to opposite ends or poles of the cell, and they start to form something called the mitotic spindle. Now you might be thinking, what is a spindle? This spindle is like a set of ropes that will help pull the chromosomes apart later. Phase 2. Metaphase, lining up for division. In metaphase, the chromosomes align right in the center of the cell. This stage is often called the middle phase because it's where all the chromosomes gather in a straight line at the cell's equator. The spindle fibers attach to the centromere of each chromosome, which ensures that everything is set up for an even split. An easy way to remember this is metaphase is for middle. The chromosomes are all lined up in the middle, ready for the next step. Phase 3, anaphase. The separation begins. Next comes anaphase. During this stage, the spindle fibers start to shorten, pulling the sister chromatids, which are identical copies of each chromosome, apart and moving them towards opposite ends of the cell. This movement ensures that each new cell will receive an identical set of chromosomes. Think of anaphase as a tug of war, with each chromatid being pulled to opposite sides of the cell. This is a critical moment because if the chromatids don't separate correctly, it could lead to errors in the new cells. Phase 4. Telophase, almost there. In telophase, the cell is almost ready to split into two. Here's what happens. The chromatids reach the opposite ends of the cell. New nuclear membranes start to form around each set of chromosomes. creating two separate nuclei within the cell. The chromosomes begin to uncoil, returning to their less condensed state. Telophase is like the cleanup stage, where the cell gets everything in order before it splits completely. Phase 5. Cytokinesis, the final split. Finally, we have cytokinesis. This is technically not a part of mitosis itself, but it's the final step in cell division. During cytokinesis, the cytoplasm of the cell divides, creating two distinct daughter cells. In animal cells, this happens through the formation of a cleavage furrow, which pinches the cell into two. In plant cells, a cell plate forms to divide the two new cells. By the end of cytokinesis, we have two identical daughter cells, each with its own nucleus and an identical set of DNA. And here it marks the end of phases of mitosis. Control and regulation of mitosis. Mitosis is a tightly regulated process. The cell has several checkpoints during the cell cycle to ensure that everything is happening correctly. If there's an error, like damaged DNA, the cell can either repair the damage or self destruct in a process called apoptosis. This might be asked sometimes in exams. What is apoptosis? This regulation is essential because uncontrolled mitosis can lead to problems like cancer, where cells divide uncontrollably and form tumors. I have created a detailed lecture on cancer. You can visit my channel to watch the lecture. Interesting facts about mitosis. Speed of mitosis. Some cells can go through mitosis very quickly. For example, certain types of cells in an embryo can divide in just 20 minutes, whereas other cells may take several hours. Mitosis versus meiosis. It's easy to confuse mitosis with meiosis, but they're different processes. Mitosis produces two identical cells, while meiosis is the process of cell division that creates gametes, the sperm and egg cells, with half the number of chromosomes. Cell lifespan. Different types of cells have different lifespans, which means they go through mitosis at different rates. Skin cells divide frequently, while neurons in your brain don't typically divide at all after reaching maturity. Tips for remembering the phases of mitosis. Here's a handy mnemonic to remember the stages. PMAT, P for Prophase, M for Metaphase, A for Anaphase, T for Telophase. You could also remember it as please make another taco. Simple and effective. Question of the day. Which phase is the first phase of mitosis?